Well, Chamberlain Coffee, so actually that's negative.
We gotta try Sabrina Carpenter's new drink, the Sabrina's Brown Sugar Shaken Espresso.
The margins for coffee are so bad. I run Bankroll Coffee, and I'm like struggling for a 20% profit margin.
Chamberlain Coffee. It's losing money is the end of my coffee company, Bankroll Coffee. Now, for those who haven't been following, a few years ago in 2021, I launched a coffee company with a partner, and instantly, it was a massive success. I think in our first weekend, we did over $100,000 worth of sales. Everything beyond that point proved to be extremely difficult. Why?
Today I thought that we could react to Graham Stephan, and he has just posted a video about his coffee business, Bankroll Coffee. I saw this video the other day and I was like, I'm going to watch this with you guys. And the title was, I closed down my coffee company. But now he's changed the title. Obviously didn't get enough views. He's changed the title to I'm going out of business. What happened?
Hey guys, so you might have noticed that there have been a few rather significant changes recently, some of which I'm not exactly thrilled about, like shutting down my coffee company. I figured we would just talk candidly and smash everything together here to talk about what happened.
Perfect. Love this. Graham Stephan and the way he so candidly disclosed his finances was one of the reasons I got into finance. It really fed my desire to know more and to share my own story, and how it made me understand how important it is to be candid and to be open with your money journey.
Now, normally with most of the videos on my channel, I really try my best to script it out as perfectly as possible for the viewer and the almighty YouTube algorithm, but that's not going to be this video, and I might go off on a bit of a rant here and there.
Wait, can you script your videos to help the algorithm? Maybe I should try doing that.
Like back in the day, or really I guess for the first almost 7 years on YouTube, I posted a video here every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. On my second channel, I posted every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday.
So he posts every day of the week. How? He only got a team semi-recently. It's not a very big team, and I'm pretty sure he did all of the editing for his main channel. Is he just a genius? Must be. But how do you physically edit that fast? That's really fast.
Anyway, beyond that, in terms of posting less, you might have noticed that I've been scaling back a lot lately.
Also, cool jacket, Graham. Well, a little bit trendy there.
And one that I'm actually pretty sad about is the end of my coffee company, Bankroll Coffee.
I remember when he started the coffee company, and there were a few videos, and I kind of followed them religiously because, as we've discussed before, I really love watching business content and seeing the rise and the intricacies and the complexities of starting a business and then maintaining a business. There's not a lot of content out there like that. The key takeaway to me was that coffee was not a lucrative business, and that the numbers didn't really stack up, and I'm surprised it lasted as long as it did. I can't remember how many years, but it's been a few years. So yeah, interesting to see why it has ended and why he's scaled back. I mean, with his net worth, he really doesn't need to work as much as he was. And I think he was in a bit of a workaholic cycle, but he's just gotten married. He's just had a big life shift, and it's very natural that he's maybe kind of had a perspective change and gone, actually, you know what? Life is actually really beautiful, and I actually really enjoy spending time with my wife, and I really enjoy just enjoying life. And so you can see why he scaled back on YouTube. And if the coffee company wasn't ever that profitable, but he was doing it because he was interested in it and enjoyed it, then potentially that's why it has shut down.
Now, for those who haven't been following, a few years ago in 2021, I launched a coffee company with a partner, and instantly, it was a massive success. I think in our first weekend, we did over $100,000 worth of sales. We sold out of everything. And it was so successful, in fact, that our Shopify temporarily got flagged because a brand new store got this huge influx of sales. And I guess that triggers something on the back end. The instant hit. I was shocked. Now, even though we didn't have any crazy profit margins or anything, the money that we did make was just reinvested back into the business to buy more inventory. And it was a really strong proof of concept that maybe we were onto something. And the sales were really, really, really good after that. For the next year and a half, we saw about $30,000 to $40,000 a month in revenue without barely even talking about it. We did very little promotion. Most of it was just organic.
Organic because you have a podcast called Iced Coffee Hour, and you had 3 years of YouTube behind you where your main thing was making coffee at home, which is ironic because my main thing is permission to buy a coffee. I go and buy a coffee every single day, very intentionally for a very specific reason. I guess, can you say that that's organic traffic, or is your target audience literally there for you? And yeah, you don't have to market it because you had all of those years kind of preemptively marketing it. I wonder what the margins were on it, because he's showed us revenue, average cost order and things, but what is the profit? What is the money that the business was actually making on that? Because you can have high sales. This is the thing, every time you watch those YouTube ads or YouTube videos about building businesses and things, they always give you the sales number, like the revenue, but not the profit. So, you know, you can have a business that does 100K in revenue, but it costs you 95K. So you're only bringing home 5K profit.
Coffee and shipping prices increased faster and higher than we ever thought was possible. So we had to raise prices just to avoid us losing money on every order. Now, two, ad rates became very expensive. Like in the past, if you went to bankrollcoffee.com, but you didn't place an order, we could retarget you on Facebook or Instagram to the point where like maybe we spent $1, but we'd make $2 back. That was great. That was a really good investment. So we continued doing that.
So you said it was all organic.
But when ad rates more than doubled, it was unsustainable. We started losing money on that, so we stopped. All of this stalled growth to the point where we could continue earning enough just to keep it going every single month. We could raise prices again to try to make a little bit of profit, or I could actively promote it in every single one of my videos to try to drive more sales. You know, it's really a tough one because the more I learned about the coffee business, the more I realized just how difficult this would ever be to scale off of my own name. Like, sure, you could have a successful influencer product where you have a thing that your core audience buys and would gladly support.
Having a business that you can scale off your own name is super important. You need to have an exit strategy because you're not going to be around forever. So you need a business that where the product or the service or whatever it is can stand alone apart from the face of the business. Graham already has multiple businesses. All of his channels are all based on him. He is so centric to all of his businesses. That's a lot of stress and a lot of weight on your shoulders. Other businesses like Dave Ramsey, the Dave Ramsey, Ramsey Solutions, they are also very much tied to his name and his face. Now, he has approached this with having different Ramsey personalities, so Dr. John and Jade, and he's got his daughter in there ready to kind of head up the company when he wants to step back. As a side note, the thing with Dave Ramsey is that there are only a few Ramsey personalities that I actually kind of enjoy as much as watching Dave. He's very, you can see why he has the success that he has. Even his daughter, I feel like she knows the stuff, but it never comes out quite right. I'm always left like, what? Why did you say that? Or you just needed to say a little bit more. It's a really hard thing to scale a business, to exit a business when it's grown based off your face, which gives rise to the question. Everyone says you need an audience behind you in order to launch a business, and it's so important for you to be the face of the business so that you can like grow, know, like, and trust. Have your followers know you, like you, trust you enough to become customers. That is a really interesting thing to then think about if you're looking at an exit strategy, which I believe every business should have an exit strategy in order for it to be. Because if you look at the other side, which is building a product or service-based business that is not tied to one person's face, it's very hard to build an audience around that. Like, very hard. How do you create that know, like, and trust factor with a product or like with a service or with an Instagram or TikTok name that's not the person's name, it's the brand name? Like, it's very hard to build that relationship with a brand and much easier to build it with a person. I think a good idea is probably looking at when you're starting a business is kind of doing what he's done, which is like having your own personal brand and then pivoting and then having offshoots of brands that you've created but are a standalone brand. And you would think that would have worked because that's basically what he did. So this is interesting to me that he was finding this difficult and is one of the reasons why he's potentially wrapped it up.
But with something like coffee, it would be impossible to scale to a point where I could step back and not be actively involved when you have extremely thin profit margins and you compete with brands like Peet's, Folgers, and Starbucks
you're like
that
on
sell
thin
millions
ice
and
all
millions
the
of packs
time
at very thin profit margins because they have a much bigger brand behind them. Like, take a look at Chamberlain Coffee. Despite
Okay, I forgot about Chamberlain Coffee. Maybe we should watch that too. Let me know if you'd be interested. Drop a comment.
her huge following, coffee in stores, and consistent demand, it's losing money. It's actively unprofitable, and she said this herself. They've also invested millions and millions of dollars.
Wait, they had $7 million invested from previous and new investors. No, that's so interesting because like if she's so vocal about it, like not succeeding and not being profitable, then like why are people investing? That would be so stressful to have $7 million worth of investors and like you're not giving them returns. Oh, that makes me sad. I really like Emma Chamberlain.
I think it's going to be difficult for investors to get a return on capital without Emma just actively promoting it to her own fan base. At which point, it would be better for her just sell it from her own store direct to consumer, cut out all the middlemen. And if investors are looking for a return on capital, I would say merch and clothing would probably yield way higher results.
Yeah. I mean, the good thing like with something like Chamberlain Coffee is I think like you can go into merch through that. Like I feel like coffee is one of those things like people really get behind. Like it's like a niche of its own. And so you can kind of like spin merch off that brand, not just off Emma Chamberlain. Like as a brand, you have the Emma Chamberlain brand and then Chamberlain Coffee, and you can spin merch off both separately. I think Sabrina Carpenter also has her espresso branding. She has like espresso ice cream, and like I feel like you can do so much with coffee. Like you can make it into like little makeup, or like there's a lot of merch that you could turn it into based off that coffee brand, not just doing coffee. I wonder why Graham didn't think of doing that, because he has a fan base, a very large fan base who I can imagine would love to buy like Bankroll coffee merch. I mean, he's a man, so you don't have like makeup products or like the real little cutesy products that you could market, but you could definitely do merch or other homewares, or I'm trying to think like with his logo. Let me just look it up again. I don't think it's merchable. Yeah, it's kind of ugly. It's kind of ugly. So how even to do mugs or like homewares, I don't know. I'm trying to think what else you could do. Turn it into a little game. I feel like you could turn it into lots of things because coffee is such a niche of its own. And then you have money and coffee, which obviously is a whole thing that I love. I think there's a lot of room for growth if you're getting slim margins on the actual coffee itself. Coffee flavored things. I mean, again, food probably has low margins, but...
Point being, despite Bankroll Coffee having consistent sales, incredible reviews, and otherwise as being a success from a product standpoint...
Wow, returning customers, 46%. What is the average returning customer for like a food or beverage business? Okay, the average customer retention rate for food and beverage, F&B businesses is around 55%. So his was 64 point something, close to 65. So that's pretty good. That's 10% above average. Average customer retention rates by industry in 2024. Oh, cool. They have it broken down by different industries. Let's see. Oh, they're like quite broad industries. Hang on. One's like media companies or professional services, financial services, banking, e-commerce or manufacturing. E-commerce, I guess. Okay. Seems for e-commerce, the average retention rate is between 30 to 60%. Which is a pretty big, like, difference between...
Cost just crushed us, and we'd have to keep raising prices and keep pushing more sales just to make it sustainable. And that is why, at the end of the day, we decided to shut it down. I guess in hindsight, we probably should have made the decision a lot sooner, but I have no regrets in giving it a shot.
This is like that Dave Ramsey reaction video I made where Dave was like, as entrepreneurs, we always call it too late.
and trying something new. It's also made me realize just how difficult it could be to create a standalone influencer brand that sells without you actively promoting it. Like Maxx Chewning's sour strips are a perfect example of this. Most people have no idea who he is anytime they go to Target to buy them. And after chatting with Max, you could tell just how much he loves his product and has so much fun running it. But my creativity and passion was really in just creating YouTube videos.
Right. So the sour strips guy, is he like an influencer brand, but like not linked to his influence? Let's see. Oh, he has 300k followers approximately. So, but maybe founder sour strips. Oh, well, sour strips has like 220k followers, and it's very much a brand page. How interesting. This is so interesting. How do you get that many followers? I wonder if they're bought, because they're all grid photos. They're not reels. Oh, there are some reels. Wait, there are some reels. What are the sorts of views? The views aren't crazy. They're like in the 20 to 50k range, sometimes less, under 10k views. And then their grid is all just like solid photos. So how did you get 220k followers? I'm just having a quick check of the followers to see if they look legit or not. I mean, it's only showing me a brief list, but they all look like real people. Only sour strips can see all followers. So can you hide your followers from people? Because then maybe some of them are bought. This is interesting to me. Interesting. I'd like to look more into this. I'm going to watch the iced coffee hour thing. But yeah, look, they have merch as well. That's only 10 hours ago. They're going to have merch for the sour strips. So this is what I mean. You have the food product and then you outshoot to like merch. He sold to Hershey's. Okay, hang on. Yes. Okay. So I think what I understand from this is that what the sour strips guy has done is that he has his own influencer personal brand. He then has his sour strips brand, and he has done that in such a way that it has been built as a standalone business, while obviously he would have some sort of influence over how successful it was because of his giant personal brand. But yeah, it is important to have it as a standalone.
That is why he sold to Hershey's, and I'm here in my guest bedroom.
He makes it sound like his guest bedroom, like it's like his mum's basement or something. Like you're in your own guest bedroom of your own house. Like you're doing well.
Okay, in all seriousness, anytime you want to grow a business or a brand, you just have to be absolutely obsessive over it. And if you don't have that type of laser focus, it'll be impossible to compete against somebody else who does.
But he sold it to Hershey's. So like he had an exit plan, obviously. Like he was super passionate about it, but not passionate about it to the nth degree where like he wants to keep it. He sold it. I'm looking at his Instagram. It says, "This was 10 weeks ago. With great pride, I can officially announce that Sour Strips has been fully acquired by the Hershey Company." Fully acquired. So that means it's not his business anymore. He was just a founder of it. I will continue. Together Hershey and my team can continue to innovate new ideas and bring smiles across the globe. I will continue to lead the vision of the brand into the future. Oh. So what? He like got paid for the business and now he's like the CEO or something? Or is he just like a silent director? Or well, not silent. He like wants to be a part of it. That's really interesting. Oh, I got married 3 months ago. Whoa, she's pretty. Okay, anyway, getting distracted.
So I guess my advice for anyone out there is to say no unless you're going to go in with everything that you have from a place of passion and be 100% committed.
The only thing I would say about what he's saying here is that yes, you have to be passionate and committed to your brand and to your product, but you can't be obsessed with your product to the point where you're blinded by everything else. Like you have to be obsessed with the brand maybe and the obsessed with success, but you can't be too attached to your product or to your service because it will blind you into not realizing that you need to change or pivot when you need to change or pivot. Like, you can't be in love with your product or your service. You have to be in love with starting a business, I guess.
Otherwise, it's going to be an uphill battle to stand out from the crowd and do well. Except, of course, when it comes to investing. Look, I know a lot of people watch me because of my market updates, analysis on certain investing strategies, or maybe you just like seeing a picture of a cute ladybug as a thank you for hitting the like button and subscribing if you haven't done that already. But in terms of what I'm personally doing with my own money over the next year, here's the entire outline.
Okay, I'm going to end it there because I like that was like just about the business and the the Bankroll coffee, even though I really want to watch the rest of it because I have to get to my Pilates class and I told myself I was going to do it, so I'm going to do it. Anyway, it's been really nice catching up with you. Thanks for being here. Have a good week. Okay? Love you. Bye.